It's the last day of the sew along. So today we're going to start by sewing the buttonhole to the front of the waistband right above the fly. Mark the place for the buttonhole on the waistband and then sew it with your buttonhole foot. When you sew the buttonhole, you don't need to use the double thread in your needle, so it's easier for your machine to sew the buttonhole if you only use one thread threaded through the needle. I am always afraid, I'm always scared of sewing buttonholes because it can either turn out perfect on the first try or it can turn out terrible and I will have to unpick it several times. So I never know what it's going to be like. So just sew slowly the buttonhole, really slowly, and then open it when you're done. This buttonhole turned out pretty perfect. So now just open it, and the next step is to insert the elastic. So get your buttonhole elastic and using a safety pin or a bodkin, I'm using a bodkin, feed the elastic through one buttonhole and pull it through to the other buttonhole on the waistband and leave a 2 centimeters 5/8 of an inch overhang on each side. So just thread it through, pull it through along the waistband until you reach the other buttonhole. Now pull the elastic and make sure that the elastic is not twisted inside the waistband. You may need to wiggle it a bit just to make sure, feel with your fingers if it's not twisted, and then feed it through a little more and pull it. And now, leaving about a 2 centimeters overhang, 5/8 of an inch, just attach it to the button. You can remove the safety pin or the bodkin now, and so the waistband should be flat with the elastic inside. You may need to wiggle it a bit to make it very flat, just like this. And then you attach the elastic to the other button and cut it, also leaving an overhang about 2 centimeters, 5/8 of an inch. Then you can either fold under each end of the elastic and stitch it down, or just leave it as is and stitch it down this way. So you will stitch it down in line with the front belt loops. So use a matching thread to your fabric on the bobbin and just pin the elastic to the waistband, not to the belt loops. The belt loops are only a guide, and you are going to sew either with a straight stitch or with a zigzag stitch right in line with the belt loops. So this way, when you flip the belt loops up, you won't see the bobbin thread. So just sew it, back stitch with. I prefer to sew it with a zigzag stitch, although in this video I sewed it with a straight stitch, but I like it better with a zigzag stitch. So this is the right side of the pants, and this is the inside. Now do the same on the other side. Now you can just trim the excess with your scissors. If you sew this with a zigzag stitch, it won't unravel. Now it's time for the belt loops. Flip the belt loops up, fold the top of the belt loop over to the wrong side by 1 centimeter, 3/8 of an inch, and then you can press it with the iron or just hold it like this. You won't be able to pin it because it's really bulky. And then stitch using a bar tack or just a really small zigzag stitch to the top of the waistband. So use your top stitching thread and then just sew with a really medium width zigzag stitch and really short length zigzag stitch. Back stitch it a bit. You may need to sew in some areas with your hand, so turn the wheel on the machine with your hand instead of the foot, the electric foot. And you may also need to change out your needle to a thicker one, so a bigger size needle. Now you are going to sew the exact same stitch on the bottom of the belt loop, so to attach it to the pants. When you are sewing the belt loops, you are sewing through multiple layers of denim in this case. So this is really bulky and really thick. If you think about it, the belt loop as is has 4 layers of denim. When you fold it the top and the bottom, it has 8 layers of denim. And then when you add to that the top of the waistband, you get 10 layers of denim in total. So it's normal that it's hard for your machine to sew this. So you may need to use a bigger size needle. So do it for all the belt loops. So slowly and until all the belt loops are sewn in place. Now that all the belt loops are sewn in place like this, they're really pretty on the outside and on the inside. So it's time to attach your button. It's the only thing left to do. So zip the pants up and use a pin to mark the place where you are going to sew the button. I'm going to use a typical jeans button that it's not sewn but it's hammered in place, and I'm going to use a hammer to do it. So to mark it, use a pin and mark the button placement a bit to the left of the buttonhole, not exactly on the center. So it's going towards the pant setter seam, because when the pants are being worn, the button will naturally sit to the edge of the buttonhole. So that's where you will mark it and where you will put it. Just mark it really well. And that's it. Now using an owl, I think this is called an owl, I'm not sure. You just open a hole in the place where the button will be placed. So you could use a regular button with holes that you would sew. But if you are using a jeans button, you do it like this. So on the inside of the waistband, insert the back of the button in the hole until it comes out on the outside of the waistband, like this. And then on the outside of the waistband, you are going to align the button with the back. So you are going to align this. Don't hammer this on a table or on a rigid surface. So do it on a carpet or something. I'm doing it on the floor because the floor has carpet. So place it on a rug or a carpet and hammer the button and its back together. I like to hammer from the back of the button towards the front so that I don't damage the front of the button. And just hammer it until it's really in place. Just hammer it a bit until you have it as you want it, so it's not loose. And that's it. I have been known to ruin jeans buttons by doing this, by hammering too much. If that happens, just take it out and use another one. See if it fits the buttonhole, and you're all done. So your jeans are now finished. These methods are exactly the same to sew the Laura jeans instead of the super tuck jeans. You have a functioning zip fly, you have an adjustable waistband, and flat felt seams on the back, which are really nice, back pockets, really cool top stitching, the adjustable waistband, it's really nice. Your jeans are all done, all finished. I hope you like it, and I hope that you make many more pairs in the future.